Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crocan Software's webinar on how to use Microsoft Teams, bots, and NITRO Studio to drive business process automation. This is work we've been going on for quite some time in the SharePoint, Teams, Office 365 space. Crocan has been involved in that for many years. We're going to get going on this webinar and show you some interesting things about Teams and bots and how our NITRO Studio works together to help you build business processes and move off legacy programs. A few people are still filtering in, but I'll go through the introductory slides and we'll go from there. I am Scott Restivo, President, Founder, CEO of Crocan Software. We've been in business 22 years, started in 1999, building solutions on the Microsoft platforms with Exchange and Outlook to start, but then when SharePoint and Office 365 came out and Azure, we got on board with those and have been building on those for well over a dozen years now. We have customers all around the world. We're a Microsoft preferred partner, and we're also a California certified small business, and we'll soon be on the GSA, the government schedules there. It's just in the final stages of getting that designation. So we've been working on organizations of all sizes all around the world, and welcome to this webinar. We're glad you could join us today. Helping me to answer questions is James. If you have any questions, you can put them into the question box that's in the GoToWebinar screen, and we'll try and answer them during the webinar or get to them after by email. Also, we'll have a recording of this webinar available for later viewing. We'll send it out to everyone who registered, and also to people, whether you attended or registered, you'll get a copy of this and follow-up email. Of course, we'll always be glad to talk to you about any issues, concerns, questions, comments you have about using Teams and bots, or even just Office 365 in general as a business process automation tool. We have several things we're doing here at Crocan Software. We have the NITRO business applications, we have the NITRO Studio forms and workflows, we have custom solutions, and we have AI and bot services. So we cover quite a wide range of possibilities of automating business processes. We have a number of business applications, out-of-the-box applications that run on Microsoft 365, Teams, and SharePoint. And I should point out that they run in the Microsoft Office 365 GCC, and also, which is the government cloud, and the GCC High. Those are two areas that are extensions of the normal Office 365, particularly for US government agencies and entities. We also run in SharePoint 2013, 2016, and 2019, and will be running in what they're calling the SharePoint, the next version of SharePoint Server, which is the subscription edition. We just put out a blog about that. You can check our blog and find out that Microsoft for on-premises servers is going into a subscription model. It still is on-premise in your own farm, but it's now no longer a perpetual license, it's a subscription. Anyways, the point is that's a whole nother story, but we did just do a blog on that. And if you want details, you can read up there in our blog roll. But we will be supporting all versions of SharePoint, whether it's on premises from 2013 and higher, but of course, Microsoft Office 365 also. And this webinar particularly is about Teams and bots, which are Office 365 entities. They're not really available on the SharePoint on premises. We have the forms and workflow platform, what we call the NITRO Studio. It's form designer, visual workflow managers, custom actions, many ways of making it so that you can build applications quite easily in the SharePoint or Office 365 and Teams environment. And this webinar will be talking about using this NITRO Studio and its workflows and custom actions with Teams, and to use using bots and other kinds of interesting things. We'll get into more details later. Here's a little bit about the bots. Chatbots, we have self-service, staff support, IT support, HR. These are all just serving business purposes to make your life easier, your employees' life easier, your organization run more streamlined and operate better. And we also bring in some AI services, Azure Cognitive Services into it. And this is really leading edge stuff. People are adopting it slowly. A lot of people are still, getting out of, say, the dark ages of InfoPath or access forms, and moving into NITRO Studio for an InfoPath replacement, or get off Lettuce Notes, or get off access forms, other outdated processes like that. And they're moving to Office 365 and SharePoint in the modern world of cloud and mobile, and more flexibility and better design, with more integrations, more capabilities that are available with a modern tool like NITRO Studio. And then the bots come in later because there are first you get established in Office 365 and Teams, get used to it, and then you move usually from there into maximizing it more through the use of bots and other type self-service entities like that. So now first I want to point out, before I get into the whole rest of the webinar, that we have a couple more webinars coming up. On September 30th, there'll be one on our IT help desk and service desk, and for both Office 365 and SharePoint on premises. And then we're going to do a broad we released a visual workflow designer this summer, but this is an announcement where we're going to go kind of a coming out party for that. So you might say for our visual workflow designer, which uses, as you can see here, graphical ways to display with this business process management notation model of doing workflows. And that's on October 7th. James, it's supposed to be a caricature of James, I suppose, there, but we're going to be doing 2 workshops. There's going to be one that digs deep into the bot commands. If you're in the NITRO Studio world, this could be an interest of you on October 6th. And then we're going to do one on using web services. So we have a number of workshops. We do 2 or 3, probably about twice a month regularly, to keep our NITRO Studio users up to date on what we're doing, the new and cool stuff that we're doing with NITRO Studio, and how it keeps expanding and growing and become an even more useful tool. And we have a large support set up for that. We have forums, we have knowledge base, we have chat. We're very involved with our users. One of our virtues of Crocan software is that we provide the best support we can. We're not a large, huge organization where you have to call all these numbers and get stuck in voicemails and all that. We're here, we're available, we're here to help. We're here to make sure you're successful with whatever you're doing with Crocan software, whether it's our applications or our NITRO Studio. So let's move on to bots. I want to get, I'm kind of anxious to get to the actual demonstration of the bots themselves and a lot of slides, so I might buzz through these kind of quickly. Bear with me. Here's one that is showing that bots are not like some kind of robotic Borg kind of assimilation to the Borg kind of science fiction thing. They are just really another way of interacting with the systems you have already, or applications that you build, whether you use NITRO Studio or whatever, inside of Office 365 and Teams. So it's just really another kind of interface. And one thing we talked about internally is the use of the word bot sounds like robots and Elon Musk kind of stuff. I don't know. So we thought of another term for them, automated engagement facilitators. You like that? Automated engagement facilitators. I don't know if we'll adopt that. It's kind of clunky, but the idea is just to automate engagement of the user in a way that is productive and beneficial to the user and to the organization. It might be a less intimidating way to put it than use the word bots. Who knows? There's a strong economic argument for going with bots. The answers can be provided immediately, 24/7, no vacations. And it's middle of Saturday night, you wake up at midnight, you want to know the answer to something, you can submit a purchase request or search the knowledge base or whatever. No one ever actually does that, but it does make it, if you've got a global organization or people who work weekends or anytime, really, it's available anytime. You don't have to wait for the staff to respond. It does it automatically. So also avoids a double cost problem. That means that when some user submits a question, there's a cost of him or her waiting for a response, and then there's also the cost of the staff taking the time to respond. So if you get the answers right away, there's no double cost of the user waiting and the staff having to respond. So it really lessens it gets answers quicker to the user and lessens the load on the staff, which are both very positives in terms of economy and efficiency. And it's very well built for handling routine repetitive tasks and free up staff for more important strategic kind of work. And it's available on any device, any location, with a phone, whatever, mobile, tablet, doesn't matter. And we also have bot analytics where the bot will improve with usage. So as you use it and get results back, analytics, you're able to tweak it, modify it, adjust it, and over time it gets smarter, use quotes, but smarter or more capable. And this way staff can be more productive. Again, I'm gonna buzz through some of these. I think you get the headline. Staff can be more productive instead of wasting time answering questions over and over. They can focus on important tasks. They can spend their time updating support documentation, knowledge base, second level support questions, more time with customers. So the idea is that you're freeing up staff time quite substantially while also giving better service to employees with quicker, more accurate answers, always available, like I said, 24/7. You get rid of this email overload, and you can have this place where you go one place to get all the access to services that the organization provides through the bot. And let's see what else. Benefits, business process automation, unification of services, and continuous self-service improvement. Okay, I'll go through these. Business process automation, reducing the staff load, unifying the services in one location, common interface, and continuous self-service improvement because the bot gets smarter through the telemetry we provide there. Now, the other slides dig into this. I'm just going to buzz through them because I want to get to the showing you what actually goes on here. If you want to talk more, we've got a lot of information about why bots are beneficial, and we figure this is good for management level people to make the justification for moving in this direction. Now, bots, the caveat here is bots have to be done in a way that works well and makes sense, and we have experience with that. If you just put a bot in right out of the gate without thinking about how it should be configured or how your user what do you call it, user culture is, the culture is at the organizations and all that, or whether Teams has been adopted to any degree. Well, all those are factors in how successful the bot will be. And so we see this as something that gradually edges into an organization. And if you get management buy-in by making the case that there are really economic and staff and user benefits and efficiency gains and streamlining, if done right, then the bot can make a really good case to bring the bots into play inside of the Teams or SharePoint or Office 365 environments. So there's a few other slides here. I think I'm just going to go right through them. Yeah, okay. We integrate with NITRO Studio Workflows. We unify services. Okay. Users get quicker answers. Staff gets, it keeps saying kind of the same thing. That frees up staff. Company operates better, more efficiently. This is like management stuff. If you have to convince management that it's good. Okay, let's go. There's a continuous bot improvement. User experience with bot guides, UI enhancements, conversational architecture improvements, and also the analytical services of the stats that our bot service generates, gives you feedback to know where people are getting stuck, where there are conversations that get dead-ended, what gets unresolved, abandoned, what questions get asked the most and get resolution or don't. So you can build your knowledge base better, you can build your bot better by using this continuous improvements with bot analytic services that we provide. Okay, I think we're good to go into the bot show. The bot show will start. Here we are, Nitro Bots. Now the way this works is this. Crocan Software has developed bots. We call them Nitro Bots. There are bots. We use the bot framework that Microsoft provides. We use our own NITRO Workflows, which is part of NITRO Studio, to power the bots. We also use our custom actions. There's a number of factors interacting with each other to make these bots do their thing. If you have NITRO Studio with the workflows and custom actions, and then you have the bots with the NITRO bots that work together, such as posting an adaptive card to sending messages to Teams, or creating a channel, and many other ways that you can use the bots and the NITRO Studio together to really power up Teams as a real tool for business process automation. So what's the next one say? Oh, these are some scenarios we're going to go through. Common business scenarios. We're going to walk through these one by one, and then we'll show you in an action. So this is where we're going to go with the rest of the webinar, is when you're talking about these scenarios. These are 4 examples that we have set up to go. Leave request. So a person asks for a leave, manager has to approve it, and it comes back. It's all done in the bot, all done in Teams. Purchase request, create a purchase request. It could be a level of auto approve, or a level where it needs 1 or more approvers, all done in the bot. Project management, where you create a Teams channel, assign tasks, create the project, create a Teams channel along with it. And IT support, we interact with a knowledge base and create and assign a ticket. So we go through those. So I'm going to jump out of the PowerPoint at this point. Well, this gives it a little more detail. I can talk you through it. I don't think we need to read the slide. You want to see it in action. So I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint and go to the bot itself. So let me get into Teams here and bring that over here. It's in this. This is over here on this screen. We're in a person called Pavan. Right here, Pavan PK is Pavan. I have a bunch of different browsers open because it's showing people logged in differently. So I can show you managers, users, admins, everything kind of interacting. So I'll try and be clear about which screen we're in and what we're doing here. So Pavan is an end user. Pavan, PK here. PK wants to go on a vacation. So he just says leave request, whatever you want. You know, there's shortcut words that the bot understands. So he's going to take leave. It's going to pop up a leave request form. So by typing in the word leave, it could be vacation, it could be other words. You know, you decide in your setup the bot what words you want to use. You can also go to a command prompt in the a set of commands, I should say, in the bot itself, and then you're able to select it from that list of commands. I'll show you that later. But he wants to take a vacation in October. Leave type, earned leave. Start date would be October, let's say that week, 11th through the what's the end of it? 15th. And the reason is Oktoberfest. He's going to go to Oktoberfest. So submit. You don't have to put I mean, it's whatever you want, information you want to put here. This form is fully configurable by you as to what input you want to go there. So the request was created successfully. Where did it go? Well, it went to his manager. His manager is James over here. And James is, now I'm dragging over James's James's browser here, and it will, let me see, it's supposed to ask him for approving of this leave request. So that will come up. Meanwhile, what's happening here is in the back end, the request manager, this request has been submitted and is here in the back end of here, vacation in October becomes part of it. So the point here is that even though you're acting in the Teams bot, you're still interacting with this back end application that is that has everything going on behind, all the power of the Nitro applications here to manage this request. So it's here, it's in a Nitro form. Now this backend SharePoint can be accessed and used in the normal way. Vacation in here, manager is James, here's the requester, and all these other things can go on like a normal application. But back in the bot world, James has gotten this card that says, and what I'm trying to say is you don't even have to go to the SharePoint backend. Pavan submitted it, the leave request through the bot, and James got this one saying that leave request approval, earned leave, vacation October, Oktoberfest, and he can click to open up the request if he wanted it to see it like we were just looking at, or he can just go ahead and approve and deny it. So let's go say he's gonna be a nice guy, he's gonna approve it, have fun, and then do okay, and he goes ahead and approve it. Now, that goes back, request is approved. In the backend system, you see that it was been approved here. And then we go over to Pavan again. Pavan's back over here, and he should get a notice momentarily that the request was approved. So we'll see that in action going on. Let's take a look at the backend SharePoint just to show you that this is all happening in the front end of Teams, but also in the back end of SharePoint. Going here, it's approved. Have fun. These are the message that James just put in here that it's been approved. So, the back end SharePoint system is recognizing that. And over here, well, let's go back to Pavan. As I'm saying, there it is. Your request is approved. Earned by James, case I have fun, everything we just put in, it's all been there and approved. In addition, we added a little extra bonus on this, in that it should be updating the HR general channel. Now, I just switched over to Teams. I went to one of the Teams channels, and we have a Teams channel called Human Resources and a channel called General. And just because if a leave request is approved, or if it's denied for that matter, we want HR to know about it. One way of course, is to send them an email or have them access to backend SharePoint. But you can also do it through this method of right here. Leave request 142 was approved, and now they got a notice from the bot in the channel that said it was approved, requester, approver, date, all this. And if they want to see it, they can open this up. They can see all the original content if they need to. And the point here is that we're using one of NITRO Workflows actions, which is send message to channel. In our workflow, we designated this message when upon approval or upon James's decision to send a message to a particular channel. Now you see it has each, you may not realize this, but each channel inside of Teams has an email address. So we're using that email address to send to it. You can get that if you're just a Teams hint here. You get email address of any channel, like this insurance one has a different email address. But then you could send to that. You can send it to directly from your inbox even if you want. But in this case, we're doing it automatically by the workflow to send a message. So now human resources, general, the people working in there have been notified. Of course, you go to any channel. You can make it so that vacations or leave request channel here if you wanted and have it go there. So that's the leave request scenario we just went through. And I tried to point out, I hope I got across that, you could be entirely in Teams and have this all work. Pavan creates the request, James approves it, HR is notified. Bada bing. Meanwhile, all the stuff going in the back end of SharePoint, if you do want to go back to that as an admin, or some people are working in the back end, some people in Teams, all that is available there also. Now, that's one way. We have got a few other scenarios to go through: the purchase, the project, and the IT support. But what I want to do right here is take a moment and take a little closer look at Teams and things you can do inside of Teams. We're in the HR Teams right here. Human resources, well, there's other ones, training, IT, projects, but this is, just use this one as an example. One way you can integrate the two applications of our, SharePoint applications and Teams and use it in there is add a web. You go here and add a web website. It's already here, I won't do it, but there's a website or any of these other things you want to add. We added a website called HR Portal. Now, HR Portal exists in the SharePoint backend and people could go to it directly, but here you're going to it right inside of Teams. Just by clicking that, you're in HR, you go here and you could initiate a leave request that way. If you do that, it comes up with the NITRO form inside of Teams and they could fill it out this way also. So it's like, 6 and 1, half dozen the other. How do you want to go to the bot, make it easy, or do you want to go through a more formal process like this? You can also, by the way, expand this and make it the full team screen right there. And then they would submit it and it becomes another kind of request in that backend system. And you could use this also to list existing tickets or requests, and you can manage things through this also if you wanted to do it that way. So it's another way that we can integrate fully with Teams. This is throw in this, this portal inside of Teams. This portal exists. You go here, it exists in and of itself at another place in SharePoint. This is it outside of Teams. This is it inside of Teams. It's the same thing. And if you wanted users to go to this directly, they could. This is in Demo 3 HR2. It's a site, that's just a demo site. But here we got Demo HR2. We have a portal. This is our classic portal, and people could go to this directly. If you said, well, they don't want to use Teams, this is the kind of thing where you can segue people from, using certain models like the SharePoint or applications, or you build an application using NITRO Studio, create a portal for it, and then later can migrate them over to Teams. It's really, the flexibility is pretty incredible here onto what you can do with this. Now, this doesn't use the bot. This is purely using Teams and the backend SharePoint application with NITRO forms and NITRO capabilities, and it will do the same thing that the bot does. It creates a leave request, James approves it. It just goes through a process that is more backend oriented, or more SharePoint oriented, I should say. And we do have ways that you can send a notice to James to approve it by email or whatever. I mean, we got it worked out. I mean, this is just, what do you want to do? What works best according to your culture and your organization and your capabilities, and we'll do it for you. Now, another thing that can happen here also is the bot can be called up from inside of the team or channel, really. Here's commands, and the bot is going to have a list of commands here. Say, hi, bot. How you doing today, bot? And it's going to give you some commands that you can work with here, to do different items. You can set up all this of what shows up in the channel, what shows up in the regular bot. All this is set in our bot command tool, where you're setting up the commands to to run and show where you want, and to certain users. We have it restricted by AD users, user groups. We have it restricted by what shows up in channels, or not restricted. It's all very highly configurable to tune it to what you need done, or what the users will react to. And then you can always like adjust it. Turn on more, turn on less. If they want to see more commands, less commands, different users, groups. Really, really adjustable, powerful tool. So that is the, I'm showing some interaction of our system with Teams inside of Teams channels here. What we're still talking about, our main focus here is on the NITRO bot. Now, the NITRO bot for Pavon here, the PK, is over on the left because I pinned it there. But if it wasn't pinned, a user could go here and just say NITRO bot and be able to access it up here, and it would bring it up, and then the person could pin it. You just go here and you pin or unpin it right there, and the person could have it on the, what word were they using for this? I forgot. It's like the, I looked at, but it's like the quick launch, you could say, or there's some technical word they have for this bar, which I slipped my mind.
App bar?
App bar, yeah, maybe that's it. It doesn't really matter, it's just a name. But the thing is, I'm saying that it's very adjustable, right? You can put whatever you want there, or take off what you want.
Sure, yeah.
That's a very, very adjustable tool. All right, so let's go through some of the other scenarios that can be done here to show you. One thing I want to do is bring James back. And I mean, James's login right here. And James is a project manager, and he wants to create a project. So he wants to, I'm not sure if this keyword works or not, but let's see, project, create project. I'm not sure if that works or not. Let's see if it does. It's just what command I have in the tagline. There it is, yeah, create new project. So it comes up. Now what it's doing, it's going over to the project tracking tool that we have on the back end and giving James the opportunity to create a new project. Okay, upgrade to SharePoint 2019, sounds good, right? Client, Crow Canyon, whatever. These details, it's a demo. I'm not gonna go too deep into the, how all this can be set up, but you get the idea. A lot can be done here. James is the manager of this project manager. We're gonna start today. Let's start next Monday, give it a few days. And we want to end it like a month later, say, 4 weeks later. So this is just like, you could come right into the back end and create a project. The bot is just giving you an easy way to do that. But the bot, when we save this, it will do some other interesting things. Of course, it creates the project inside the back end project management tool here. And you'll see that there are all the projects here are going on. So here we go. There should be a new project for upgrade to SharePoint 2019. Let's see if it's there. Yep, 2019. Yeah, I guess I had done some others before, but this is the new one we just created right now with the date. Okay, so that's there. But in addition to that, it went ahead, if everything worked right, it did create a project in here. Upgrade the channel, sorry. The project, our workflow, when you create the project, just created a channel right here, upgrade to SharePoint 2019. This was just created as part of this going on right here, okay? 10 hidden channels. Now there's a new one right here. Upgrade to SharePoint 2019. So then people can start interacting here, add webs, make a whole project thing going on here if they wanted with all this in Teams. In fact, I was just talking to James earlier today about, we'll do another webinar probably in a month or two about how you really can use Teams even more effectively. I mean, it's really got a lot of power to it and a lot going on, and we're taking advantage of what we can here with the bot and everything. We'll show you more when we get another chance. But this is the bot and the Teams one we're doing here. We created a project in the back end, and we created a channel in Teams. Here it is right here, upgrade to SharePoint 2019. Okay, that was done. Now James is back in the bot, and he wants to create a task to go along with that. So he says, okay, create task to go with the project, right? So he's going to create a task, and the bot's going to come back. And you could do this inside of the SharePoint backend, but he wants to do it this way. So let's say download files from server. Download files from server. I don't know. I mean, just making stuff up, right? So here he goes, upgrade to SharePoint 2019 project, description, need these by September 27th, assigned it to Pavon, good old Pavon. So we submit it. Now task was submitted successfully. The project over here upgrade to SharePoint 2019. Should now have a task on it, a related task. Yep, download files from server, assigned to Pavan. I just added it in, done through the bot. And as you may guess, if you're watching all this going on, is that Pavan, our buddy Pavan over here, should get a notice that he got a task. There it is. Download files from server. He got this, and he can mark in project, mark complete, and there it goes. So, you know, again, without really working in the backend project, James was able, backend SharePoint system, James was able to create the project, to create a channel if he wants, don't have to, but create a channel to go along with the project and assign a task. And of course, if it goes on from here, if Pavan completes it, and your whole scenario goes on that goes on and on with the workflows. You can mark it complete, inform James, see if other tasks are still pending, or reassign another task to somebody else, or create another task. I mean, you know, the way things can go from this point forward really are dependent on what's the best way to get your work done there. And it's really showing the power of teams to make that happen. So here we had several things going on. We had creating a channel. We earlier showed sending a team message to teams. And now we showed creating a task in all this. So that's two of the scenarios. Now I want to go over to go into a little bit more on the back end of NITRO Studio and talk about that. So I've been showing you the applications, like here's a purchase request system. The purchase request system, and here's the request management system. If I refresh this, it should have that one we got from Pavan about vacation in October, the Oktoberfest, yeah, right here. So there it is. Each application runs in a site in SharePoint. The Teams interface gives a way to conveniently interact with it using the bot or the web page or whatever inside of Teams, the channels and all that. So there's this close interaction going on if you want in Teams. If you want to just run it from SharePoint, sure, go ahead. But what's powering all these sites up is our NITRO Studio. This is something Crow Canyon created. We've been building it over 5 or 6 years now. People can, people look, oh, why not Power Apps? Why not? Well, this is so much more powerful and comprehensive than Power. I mean, just let's be frank about it. And it includes forms, workflows, every kind of aspect of application development you need, because that's what we do. We are application developers. We built this tool for our applications, and we make it available to other people who want to build their own applications for internal processes that they have going on inside of the organization, or or like that. So we built it. Power Apps people, I mean, I don't know if you guys anybody on the webinar can contradict me if they want, but almost all the feedback I get is that it's hard to use. It's like really developer oriented. And also there's Power Apps, there's Power Automate, there's Power BI, there's virtual agents, all this stuff. And Microsoft, of course, you can't criticize them too much, but they are a large organization, and they can't provide the level of support we do, the level of engagement we do with our NITRO Studio. And the other thing is, Power Apps and that stuff is not free either once you get above a certain amount of usage of it. And we provide NITRO Studio once you buy the tenant license, for whatever number of people in your tenant, whether it's 100, 200, 1,000, 10,000, that's a subscription price. After that, you create unlimited forms, unlimited workflows, unlimited sites. We don't restrict it at all. It's up to you what you want to do with it. And also it runs in SharePoint on premises, which is important for a lot of people, and Power Apps doesn't do that. That's a case right there to go with our stuff. But even in Office 365, we run in both, and like we say, the GCC and the GCC High also now with our NITRO Studio. It's been adopted by a lot of people all around the world. It's got a good community of people using it, and here it is right here. You're seeing it in action, with a number of tools and capabilities that's going on here, all these different things, which, that's not my purpose to delve into this in this webinar particularly. I will show you one thing that we did add recently, a preview of our custom action designer. Let's see, and this is, I mean, not preview, this actually exists, but I'm saying before we go to the webinar that's going to be October 7th, where the coming out party I said about how all this. So you have this like way to design and build your workflows using this, what they call business process management notation, BPMN 2.0 style stuff. And then you could come in here and adjust things how you want to get the start, go through a certain flow to the finish with a debug to test it out, and all kinds of cool stuff going on here. So won't belabor that too much. Join the webinar on October 7th if you want to, dig into more, or just talk to us individually. Pretty cool. But that's just one of the many tools inside of NITRO Studio. So I wanted to point that out, what's going on, what's underlying all this. Another big, well, of course, the forms are huge, and that's a whole webinar in itself. We have a forms designer where you go in and design the forms. A very, very, what's this, purchase request, let's go with that one. And you go in and can design a form to look any which way you want, to meet any kind of style you want, any kind of ways you want to arrange these fields and tabs. And I mean, there's so much going on here. It's connecting to external databases, how you, different controls, a little teaser there. Won't go into that too much. That's another world in itself. Back to the NITRO Studio right here. And the workflows is where a lot of this work goes on. So I'll focus on that a moment because it is related to the bots, because the NITRO workflows and the bots work hand in hand to produce the kind of functionality we see. And we got two more things to show. One is the purchasing and one is the IT support. So hang on, I'll get to that in the next 20 or so minutes, before the webinar ends. So this is just showing you that here is a workflows. This is going to have a visual workflow designer 2 in about a month or so. We're going to come out with this for the NITRO workflows as well as for the custom actions. And you can see here that, you can, I'll open up an existing workflow. And in any one of these workflows or these custom actions, there's a huge number of actions that are available, based on certain conditions, certain things. You can run any of these things in any kind of conjunction with each other in any kind of order to make it all perform very powerful capabilities. I mean, people are using this for amazing things to run automation. This is what automation is all about, so that something happens, somebody approves something, somebody closes something, somebody creates something, and then the process is automated to whatever degree it can be automated, interacting with SharePoint, with Teams, with bots, or just email, whatever. I mean, whatever way it works in your organization, to make it so that the workflow proceeds well. But this webinar is about bots and teams, so we're going to see that here, your teams, you can create a Teams channel. You can then email to a Teams channel. You can post an adaptive card. Now, posting an adaptive card is a little bit of a I wouldn't call it, sneaky is the wrong word, but there's this huge amount. I mean, it's underplayed by posting an adaptive card. There's so much you can do with this adaptive card, which is a card that's shown inside of Teams, right? We just showed you some of those with the leave request form, the notices that James gets, the notices that Pavan gets. And then the really cool thing about it is there's a set of actions at the bottom. You define what actions you want in your card. And then you could create other list items, update list items, evoke workflows. So you can start to see that these things get very, very powerful in the sense that you have a card, the workflow posts a card, the card has buttons on it, the buttons invoke other workflows, and all of a sudden you got automation, driving up your street, right? And knocking on your door, so to speak. So you got automation happening for you, like in real time right there. And it's really cool. People really find this great and powerful and fun in a way, and though it takes some logical, of course, logic to how it all works together. But once you get there, it's like, oh yeah, I press this button and all this stuff happens, and then card comes up and I press another button and even more stuff happens. So let's jump over to the bot again and go through these other scenarios. We were in Pavan here and wants to buy wants a new purchase. Come on, Pavan. What do you want to buy, Pavan? Let's find out. What are you buying? Come on, bot. My bot's a little slower today than normal. There you go. Okay, so we got the bot. New purchase request. He wants to buy 3 bags of coffee for the break room, right? Type of purchase. Oh, wait a minute. No. I got to do something different. That's right, because we just. What's he want to do? He wants to buy a new printer. That's right. Sorry, he wants to buy a new printer. The coffee one would have been fun because I could say like needs caffeine and everything. Oh well, we'll say he wants to buy a new printer, and it's normal. And the catalog, he's buying H LaserJet printer, and he's in the IT department. And the reason is, well, the old one broke. Old one, it's gone and broke. And here we go. He only wants to buy one of them. So he goes to submit. And because it's below a certain limit that's set inside of the purchase request program itself, it will be automatically approved. And he does not need to go to James for approval because it's below a certain limit that is set inside of the system. Okay. But if he wants to do something that's more than that, let me actually, once that card comes up, bring James back into the picture here. James is over here. James did not get a card when Pavan submitted that below the threshold purchase, okay? But he will when Pavan comes over back over here. Come on, Pavan. And Pavan's going to buy something else. He's in a buy-in mode today, right? So he wants to buy more stuff. He's going to buy 5 Dell Vostros. And the type of purchase is hardware. The priority is normal. Purchase catalog is Dell Vostros. Of course, you set all these catalogs and departments and everything up. This is just a demo. You make it look how you want with the items you want in it. And it's going to get new employees are coming on board. He needs them. And the quantity would be 5, right? So I said 5. So now he's going to submit it. Well, that's a much higher purchase. And we have thresholds set. I could show you in the purchase request program. We have thresholds set that will trigger different approval levels. It could be level 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, 4 level. It's really up to you how you want to configure it. This is a simple one where it's just asking James to approve it. Okay, James over here should get a card to approve it. Now, if we look at the back end purchase, just as a where's it, projects purchase, that would be in this one right here. I think purchase. I think it's under purchase, the purchase site. Is that right? Yeah, purchase request. We should see this purchase request in here. Am I in the right place? Oh, sure. I think I am. My purchase request. Let's see. All purchase requests. Well, it's supposed to be. Maybe I'm getting a little confused as to which site I'm supposed to be in here. But anyways, let's see if James got that card. Come back here. Here. Okay, where's James? Is this one? James is over here. James to get the card. Maybe admin account gets the card for that. What did we set up there, James? Remember, was it going to admin or was it going to you to approve? Let me see, go over to admin and take a look at admin account if he got it over here. Bot.
You take a look.
Well, what? I don't see. We were monkeying around with all these approval. Oh, here it is. Look, new printer not approval not required for the new printer. It might have been the bot was a little dragon. You know, like, are you Russian or are you dragon? We got to tell the bot, are you Russian or are you? Okay, it's a joke from the Whiplash movie. Are you Russian or are you dragon? So you do know the difference between Russian. I like that movie, didn't you? Did you ever see that? Whiplash? With the guy doing the fist thing, you know? So bot, are you Russian or are you dragon? I think the bot is dragon. It's not my beat. That's not my beat, bot. Beat bot. The bot beat is off. Anyway, maybe it's so anyway, let's get back to whatever the heck we were doing here. We were ordering a new printer and the new printer is not required. So Pavan got informed that he was that. So maybe over here, James, because the bot is dragon, it's going to show up eventually. Okay, well, of course it's a webinar and what do you want? Things happen. You gotta watch that scene. Are you Russian or are you dragon? I feel that way, you know. I mean, like the guy, like, you know, if you're upsetting my band, you know, my webinar here, you know, the bot. Okay, enough silliness. Let's get back to work here. So there's supposed to be an order for James to approve that one because it's over the price limit of the approval. We have approval level set in this utility right here in our program. Approval levels are set. Why is it in German?
That all right, that's weird. It's coming up fine for me on my side. FY.
That is great. Okay. No, I think I did talk to support last night, and they told me that they had changed it to German for some German customer to show that it was that we could show it in German. That's actually what happened. So let me go over here to all purchase purchase requests over here, and go to the admin account. James, you got to take that thing out of German.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that's in there. I'll have them take it out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. All right, so here we are. What are we doing? We're going to the approval levels of the purchase, and well, it's the thing. What happens sometimes when you make changes, you got to remember to roll them back, right? So here, hardware over $5,000, the approval level is supposed to be admin account. Okay, so it is admin account. Admin account is over here. Here it is right here. It showed up. Okay, so it's working as it should. I was in the wrong thing. Things have been switched around. Excuse me a little there, but it's when you got all these multiple, I'm not all these people. I'm one person. Pavan's over there, James over there, admin account over there. So Pavan has requested the printer, and the printer showed up not requiring approval because it's under the $5,000 limit that you see in the approval levels right here, right? In the approval levels right here, wherever it was, I had it up a moment ago, you can see that it is below that amount. But when it's above that amount, says he's ordering these 5 Vostros, it's requiring an admin account to approve it. So what the confusion there for a moment was whether James was the approver or admin account was. And normally you have it set up in a standard, but we were monkeying around a little before the webinar and made some changes. And I thought it was James, but it was admin account. AA is admin account over here. So admin account got the approval. It's above, like he should, it's above the mark, $5,000 level, 5 of these. And so he's going to go ahead and approve it and say, okay. I mean, what else are you going to say? Okay. And approves it. And then the request would be approved. And he's all set to go. So if they're in the backend purchase request system here, the 5 Vostros is right here. It's been approved, and we can see that by opening it up. And approval level is that where is it? It's approved. It's approved. It's right here. It's approval. It's all approved here and ready to go. And now at this point, once it's approved, we could create another workflow upon approval that does any number of things you want. It could send an email, it could send an SMS text, it could send a message to the team's channel, and it could do any number of other things to keep people informed, because once it's been approved, whether it's a leave request, a purchase request, a whatever else kind of request, it then needs to go to the next step to get the actual work done. Like say access to a database goes to the DBA, HR request might go to the HR team. Now that doesn't have to be done in Teams. It can be done through email. It can be done through third-party integrations. It can be done through SMS texting, all kinds of different ways to do it to make it so that once it's approved, it continues the flow of progress along there. So we're back to the 4th scenario here, which is one that a lot of people are interested in, is that there's wants to submit a ticket. So he wants to search. Well, listen, I think this works. I have a problem. Of course, you can put any words you want in there. So it's saying, okay, I have a problem. What do you want to search about? My printer is low on toner. Okay, now it's going to try and come back with some articles that give the user maybe a way to possibly solve it. Now, this is why I talk about bot analytics driving the process further. As you get these questions coming in, you can look at it and say, well, there was no KB article that corresponded to that, so we're going to create a KB article. KB articles exist in our application as part of the NITRO Studio applications, the NITRO business application, and you could build the knowledge base as you want, either from existing tickets that get, when they're closed, create a KB articles, or go in there individually and create the KB articles. And then when you use the bot and you do the search, you're going to come back and get this possible response right here that says, is this good enough? The person can open up and read it, read the article, and look at the knowledge base article right here. And of course you can make these HTML with nice pictures and format it a lot better than that, but that's that is giving the person the article to read. If that resolves the problem, good, it's done. That's what I mean about the bada bing, the double cost. Maybe they put in the search, they got the answer, they're done. No ticket has to be created, no other work is done. It could be the middle of the night on Saturday, and the person got his answer, right? It could also, then they could go drive down and go through this conversation a little bit more, try and find other related articles, enter more details, and try and search deeper. And of course, this depends on the quality of the knowledge base and its capability, and that grows over time, so that you're able to, people are able to make these searches and get the answers quite quickly. Now, let's assume it doesn't, just to show you the flow, and they're going to submit a ticket. So the person has submitted a ticket, and the ticket is created based on the information the person already put in. My printer is low, it's Pavon, and here's the ticket right here. If you want to open it up and take a look at it, you can. It's here in the IT help desk professional system. It's there, it's my printer is low, and it's all been created like that. So it's in the system right now. Okay. So meanwhile, Pavon's waiting for the staff to respond. James over here, with this browser over here, and James, where's James? James is in Chrome. James is in Chrome right here. He's in his bot, and he goes here and says he wants to view. He's fishing for. He's just finished something now. He wants to go find more tickets to. He can go pick up another ticket. He doesn't have. He still has time in the day, and it's time for him. He finished the project he was working on, so now he can go view all unassigned tickets. And you can look at the unassigned tickets that came in, one which should be Pavon's new ticket about my printer is low on toner. He can click it. Again, this is all in the bot. You can click it, and here it goes. By the way, Pavon got a notice that it was submitted. Thank you for using the bot. Your print is low. It's been submitted, right? Unassigned, normal. That's Pavon. But back here in James is looking at it, again, more or less the same information, but James gets these options. Here's, again, the posted data card with the buttons at the bottom, right? And you got to assign it to someone else. He could pick it up. So he's going to pick it up, or whatever words you want to use. Assign to myself. It says, we'll start working on this. All very configurable, these cards, believe me, and what input you want, what things you want to do with them, how they go from there to this, that, the other thing. All in the matter of the workflows behind the scenes. So it's been assigned. James has got assigned. So next thing he's going to do is look at his assigned tickets. Oh, commands right here. And you can see what tickets are assigned to him by looking at all the unassigned tickets. All tickets assigned to him. View my assigned tickets. So you look at his assigned tickets. And we see his assigned tickets. You can show overdue tickets. You can show other, whatever commands you want to put there. This is all flexible and configurable. And he could be in a channel, like I said earlier, and call the bot. Hey, bot, what tickets do I have here? And the Nitro bot would give him this list of tickets similar to this. That could work inside an IT channel if you're in the situation where you have an IT team and you're having a meeting and you say, how many overdue tickets do we have? And you don't want to bother going to the backend SharePoint and look at the view of overdue tickets. You can say, hey, bot, show me, and then click the command show all overdue tickets, and it'll show up for everybody inside of that channel or inside of that meeting you're having. And then people can take a look at it directly like that, right? So anyway, he's my printer's low on toner right here. And so now James gets a little bit different. It's been assigned to him. And, printer low, case ID is all up there. You can click at the actual ticket here, or you can add a note, or you can resolve it or reassign it to somebody. Of course, these buttons are what you want to put here. So he's going to add a note that says, Pavon, which printer is it? Which printer is it? He just said my printer. He's not sure which one it is. So he can add the comment to that. Here we go. And so there it's back there, comment was added. And then over here on Pavon's world, here we're back in Pavon, work log was updated by James, assigned, which printer is it? And he can add a note saying the one in Office 25. right? And they're having this conversation inside of Teams. You know, of course you could do chat, you could do other things too, but you know, this keeps it all in the record inside of the back end. So if if you were to look in the back end there, well, first of all, James already got this ticket saying the one in Office 25. They say, okay, he's going to resolve it. But just to look at the back end for a moment there, I'm going to go to the IT professional site. You know, it's actually a little silly. I could have just clicked the link right there and done the same thing. Let me do that. Click this link. Let's do it here. View the request in a browser. So here he is in a browser. We got like a few more minutes. So I'll be able to show the final results of this in a moment. So you can see that the whole work log is the conversation is going on here, being recorded, everything's approved. So it's all happening in the back end and the front end at the same time is my point. So James comes in here and he goes to resolve the ticket. He says, fixed it. You know, I mean, you could obviously put something more elaborate in the real world. And then it gets resolved and Pavan gets notified about this over here. And here's Pavan back being notified that the ticket was closed with a history of the work log, whatever, you know, normal resolved. And he can mark it closed because he agrees. Thanks. You know, he agrees it's closed. If you want that check with the end user to make sure before you actually close it. And here we go. Ticket closed successfully. And that's all been done and it's recorded in the back end as well as the front end here. And so you can see there were the 4 scenarios. Here it is. And you can even do this thing where you can click here to participate in a survey. We've added this little feature in where it's been closed and the person can click over here to open up a survey about this particular ticket, and the staff, you know, it just all kinds of cool stuff. We just want to show you like where you can go with this stuff. It's pretty amazing. So we showed, hopefully I showed successfully, you know, 4 scenarios involving different ways that the bots and teams in the SharePoint backend interact. There's the leave request. There was the project creation and task management. There was the purchase request of both below a certain threshold and above a threshold requiring approval or not. And then there's been this IT ticket. Now, it's a very brief overview of this of what bots can do. They're very powerful, and what NITRO Studio can do. And we hope that this presentation's been useful in showing you just at least a taste of where we're going with this and what is possible and available if you're using NITRO Studio as a way to bring automation to your Office 365 Teams environment. Now, with that, James, are there any questions?
Yeah. So the question is, do we provide any services to help set these, you know, set up the bots and these scenarios?
Yes. For instance, I was going to show the bot dashboard, as a matter of fact. You just remind me of that. So this is something that comes along when the bot's in place. Well, I don't know what happened here with all your German stuff.
Yeah,
Either we
we're gonna
change
fix
this
that.
or I have to learn German, James. One or the other. I don't know which one.
I
But
know,
the bot
apologies.
dashboard.
It is a demo site that we hammer on quite a bit, so it does, you know, it does have those kinds of things sometimes. We'll get that cleaned
Yeah,
up.
well, you know, I don't worry about it too much, but yeah, that was something. But here is like telling you like what was resolved, what was not resolved. I mean, there's all the general. So we have bot configuration services and bot telemetry services we can provide to help you get everything set up. Okay, that means that configuration, there is some, you know, configuration of the bot. It's an extra cost above the NITRO Studio tenant because we have to subscribe to the bot framework and the bot Azure services and the Azure cognitive services and things like that up there. So we do have an extra subscription to get the bot in place, but it's you know, it's just what we have to do. Now, what next? What other questions?
No, that was about it, just about the services.
Okay. You know, somebody had a question in chat. Is that chat or that's just a question? Okay. Okay, good. All right, so it's the top of the hour. I know respect people's times. If anybody has other questions, they can pop them in. But hopefully, we covered everything in this hour and everything that we could anyway. But there's, like you say, there's upcoming webinars or workshops that we'll be doing. We'll be digging into this more and more. We'll be expanding and showing you different aspects of it as we develop them and get them out to the public and get them in use. And the one on bot commands coming up is a deep dive. And in fact, James, you did one yesterday that's more of a technical mechanic level of the bot. teams and bots. That it's up there. It's up there on our website, right? Didn't Jocelyn put that up there for?
It should be up there now. Yeah, I have the workshops, part of the workshop series. There's going to be it's more technical deep dive into it. So it's not just, you get a lot. It's one of the resources you have once you become part of the Crookane families. You have the forum, you have these workshops you can attend, you have the manual, a whole host of resources at your disposal to also, of course, you can always email us. We have our support line, support tickets, and things like that. So you can get in touch with us. But these workshops are intended to be a little more of a deep dive once you get involved and have the actual, bot on your tenant, or you have the Nitro on your on-prem server or tenant. We'll dig into particular aspects of Nitro, and we're going to be going into the bot piece of it, kind of focusing on that a little bit. But yeah, that the one yesterday, September 22nd, that recording should be up there. It should be free for anyone to go and take a look at it. And same with the Nitro bot coming up in a couple weeks. That'll be available for viewing on our website afterwards as well.
Yeah, this one was done yesterday, and it should be. We usually have it posted within a day, and I guess it just hasn't been updated, but it will by the end of the day today. We'll have this using Nitro Teams with workflows with Teams, and that was a good one. That was a good one yesterday too. But like you said, more technical than
Right.
the kind of high-level overview I was trying to give. And it'd be good if someone's interested in bots and workflows and Teams to take a look at that also, if you want. You're seeing my screen still, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right, good. And then, of course, we have many other resources up here, that can be used: blogs, case studies, infographics, white papers. I mean, the full support site, full support center, forums, version log. So we'll end with that. Anybody wants to get in touch with us directly, we'd be glad to do one-on-one demos. Appreciate your attending this. Any follow-up questions, send email. James and I are available anytime. Talk, on the phone or answer by email. We have a sales team. We have marketing. So hopefully we'll hear from you and move forward with this. Thank you again for attending. Everybody have a good rest of the day and happy fall. The equinox, I think, was yesterday, right? Yeah, so or today, yesterday. Yeah, so happy fall. All right. Okay. Stay in touch. Thank you again. Thanks, James, for helping. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.